All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men who taught me this truth. I would like to say shalom to Akim and Yufu Akwak, you men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. It's your brother Micah Allah coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemal Washai, Lord willing to edify. And the title of this lesson is simply, snap has been cut, in quotations, famine, and what just took place down here in Alabama. It says, this from Alabama.com. This was posted May 12th, 2026 at 10:44 a.m. Well, it was updated, but it was posted. It was updated on the 12th, but published May 11th, 2026. It says 50,000 people dropped from Alabama's SNAP rolls. Children and seniors are the ones who are suffering. You see, and as we told you, mainly you Israelites out there, you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, we've been warning you that these things were coming. We warned you that these benefits or goods that you was getting from Esau, we told you it was going to come a time where these things were going to be cut off, you see. And even last year, when it was talks about cutting these things off or reducing, these SNAP benefits, you had Jakes in the uproar, Jakes in the state of perplexity, not knowing what's going on, not knowing why these things are happening, because ultimately they trusted in the system. They trusted in Egypt. And that's not the spirit to be in, especially seeing that the Lord is constantly revealing Esau for the devil that the Bible speaks of, and to also reveal him as being the enemies to Israel, man. You see, this man is your enemy. This man is not to be trusted at all. The Lord told us not to put trust in man. You see, so you elderly, that has trusted in this place for decades. You know what I'm saying? When you grew up in a time where you knew that the so-called white man, woman, and child couldn't be trusted. You knew that. But you fast forward to 2026, you let your guards down. Now you got Jake's, Jake is not, Jake is being taken out of these certain high-end, high seats, so to speak, such as, Congresses and, Jake is being threatened by the fact that he's not able to vote no more. When we've been telling you, starting with our apostles and elders, a great millstone, that your vote never counted, Jake. And even if your vote did count, hypothetically speaking, if it did count, what changes are being made? Because you still at the bottom. The work that you put in to build America, you have not, to this very day, reaped not even half of the benefits compared to the nation of Edom, compared to the so-called white man. You haven't reaped none of the benefits. Everything that he's stolen from you, especially you Native Americans, he just reserved you to just being on reservations. And Jake, he just put you in the ghettos, And you so-called Latinos out there, he just deports you back. He has you to come over here just to work for a little or nothing. You work hard as hell, but you You don't really get a good benefit off of it. You don't really make nothing here. And as soon as you done doing your job, they just call ICE on you and get you deported back to your country, man. You see? So it's clear as day that this man was never to be trusted. Especially coming to, these when it comes to these SNAP benefits, such as food stamps, and it's going to be more than just food stamps that's going to be cut off in these last days. Going back to you older Jakes out there, your retirement is going to be cut off. He's already shown you that he don't want you to stop working. He's extended the time of retirement. He's extended that time, knowing good and well people are dying before they even hit 50, more than ever. And he's got the audacity to extend retirement to where you can get your full benefits, your Social Security, all that. And then even those checks that you're getting monthly or every 2 weeks or however it's set up, even that's not enough. Where as high as things is in today's time, even that's not enough to satisfy you. You see? But we're in the perilous times. We're in dangerous times, man. You see? And that's why you should trust in Yahweh Shema Shai. You see? See, the Lord has sent the prophets out to show you the way of Yahweh Shai. You see? To move you to trust in the Lord in these times. Because if you keep trusting in man, that's going to lead you to death, ultimately. It says nearly 50,000 Alabamians are no longer enrolled in SNAP as changes to the federal food assistance program began to take effect. It says we are on track to lose up to 100,000 people off of SNAP benefits by the end of this year. You see? So about 100,000 people, and it's definitely going to be more than that. That's just being light with it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be more people that's going to lose SNAP benefits. You know what I mean? Over here and just, the state of Alabama by itself, because it's more than 100,000 people, in the state of Alabama that's even on SNAP benefits. You see? It says, we are already hearing from those impacted who no longer have access to food, she added. Homeless children and seniors are the ones who are suffering. We have absolutely seen an increase in the number of people who don't have enough to eat coming to our pantries, you see? In January 2025, there were about 743,000 Alabamians enrolled in SNAP, and that's just in 2025. This year, there are about 694,000 people enrolled in the program, according to the report. That 6.5% decline is due to changes made in President Trump's Big Beautiful bill that imposed new work requirements in order to receive food benefits or food stamps, according to the Alabama State Department of Human Resources, the state agency that administers the program, you see? So we told you that this cruel Lord did not have your best interests at heart. And this is mainly, not only targeting the average American, because of course this is, targeting and affecting everybody, but it's mainly geared towards the tribes, you see, especially the Southern Kingdom, because, Southern Kingdom is known for the EBT card. Your mama give you the EBT card, go down the street, to the package store or whatever, you know what I mean, to the corner store, get some milk, you know what I mean, get a can of soup or something, you know what I mean, or some chips, you know, and even in that, you know, it's certain blocks on the foods that you can buy with SNAP or with your food stamp card. You know, I seen an article, you know, Esau said you can't buy candy with your SNAP EBT card, man. You know, and you know that's definitely geared towards Jake. You know. But yeah, this is why you should not trust in this place, man. You should trust in Yahweh Shema Shai. But this Ecclesiastes 9 and verse 12, it says, "For man knoweth also not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare. So are the sons of men snared in an evil time when it falleth suddenly upon them. And remember, evil and only evil behold is come." You see? So you Israelites out there, those of you that trust in this place, you know what I'm saying? Those of you that don't know Yahweh Shema Shai, your power, you are likened unto a bird that has been caught in a snare or is about to be caught in a snare, because that ultimate snare, see, this is just lightweight compared to what's coming down the pipeline. You see? Because a great famine, you're already experiencing that now with high prices, with inflation. Eventually, when hyperinflation sets in, you're not going to be able to afford to live. You're not going to be able to afford to eat nothing. And the only way you're going to be able to sustain in life in general, period, is through divine intervention. It's going to take the Lord to feed you in these times. That's how serious it is. This is bigger than, you know what I mean, you seeing these things take place. You think just because you done made over 100,000 a year, you know what I mean, throughout your time of laboring in Babylon, you think that somehow that's going to save you. Absolutely not. You see? Because you could have $100,000, but when hyperinflation sets in, that shit gonna dry up quick. You see? And especially if it was to be a blackout, you know what I mean, to where the systems crash, the bank systems crash, to where you're not able to get your money out the bank, you're not able to use cash out, you're not able to use your phone to make contactless payment transactions, you know, and during that time, it's going to create a lot of chaos within itself. But even in that, when the systems get back online, Esau is going to present to you, or present to the whole planet Earth, you know, that MOTB, that micro C hip, pursuing the Revelations, the 13th chapter and the 16th verse on down, or 15th verse on down. You see? And if you don't have that charagma, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. It's written. And that's the ultimate snare. You see? Because that's what all of this is building up to. Esau's hitting you with every angle, but like in like with this Hunter virus, what's going on? Guess what? That's the same game plan this dude ran in 2019 with the C-19. Where eventually, suddenly, you was put on lockdown. You see? You heard different talks about C-19, and then all of a sudden, everything shut down. The whole planet Earth shut down. Well, guess what? He's running that same game plan again. You see? And you jakes are falling for the same snare. You know? But those of us that have been given eyes to see where all of this is going, we understand and know that trusting in the Lord is the only route. You see? This Deuteronomy 28 and 47, it says, "Because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord Yahweh Shema shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in the want of all things. and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. You see? So due to our disobedience, due to us, falling away from our power, serving false gods, trusting in our enemies, that's what's led us to this current estate in 2026 in America, being oppressed by our enemies, having to go to him for the want of everything, for food, water, and shelter. You see, that's due to our disobedience. It tells you that in Baruch the 4th chapter, how we moved the Most High to wrath, and that's why we ended up in this position. You see, but the Lord has also granted us a way back into the good graces of Yahweh Shema Shah. You see, through the Heavenly Father has granted us return back through Yahweh Shah. Through Yahweh Shah's sacrifice. So now you don't depend on this man for the want of all things. The elect is not going to depend on this man for the want of all things. You see? Matter of fact, let's go here real quick. It's Isaiah 10 and verse 20. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, see, the remnant of Israel, this is who the Lord is concerned with in the last days. The Lord is not concerned with all Israel. The Lord is not concerned with everybody on the planet Earth. The Lord is only dealing with Israel, and he's only dealing with his elect out of the nation of Israel in these last days. It says, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. It says, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. You see? And like I said, the Lord has granted us return. We've been able to return back to the Lord. So now we don't put trust in man. You put your trust in the Lord. You see? Because the Lord is going to be the way of how we be sustained in these last days. It first starts with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and learning the fear of the Lord. You see? And with that, the Lord is going to look out. You see? Going back, it says, Deuteronomy 28 and 49, it says, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the persons of the old, nor show favor to the young. You see? So going back to the article, who's suffering? And that's just over here in Alabama, in the state of Alabama. How much more throughout the U.S. as a whole? Who's mainly suffering in these last days? Children and the elderly, man. And the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, showing you that this man is the wicked. You see? Esau has seized control over the resources, over the planet Earth as a whole, over everything, and he's not regarding, he doesn't have any care for the young or the old, man. This dude don't care. The fact that restaurants throughout America, even good restaurants, we ain't talking about no fast food restaurants. We talking about good 5-star restaurants that actually serve you decent quality food. And they throw away hundreds of thousands of dollars of food every single day and don't give to the homeless. So this man don't care about having homeless people within his country. He doesn't care. These elites don't give a damn about that. Because they get off on the sufferings of people in general, even seeing his own people suffer through the opioid addictions. You know what I mean? These different drugs these Edomites are on. Now, this nigga don't even give a damn about that. You see? Which is all prophecy, you know? Because these same curses that the Israelites had to undergo is slowly but surely being put on our enemies. You see? So now they drinking the cup and they got to feel what we felt. Just like crack in the 80s, you know? And who put the crack in the neighborhoods during the times of the 80s? Esau Edom. Through the CIA. And it showed you that on that show, Snowfall. You know? Here it is. Esau go to Colombia, you know, go over there with Asher, you know what I mean? Make deals with them for them to make the drugs and then fly the shit all the way back over here to the soils of America and use Jake to drop those drugs off in our different neighborhoods, man. And look how fucked up that made Jake. You see? But now, that same thing is falling upon his people. But continuing on, it says, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thine kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until you have destroyed thee. You see? So this man doesn't care about you sustaining yourself, because just these basic things like you know, cattle, land, you know, this man doesn't want you to have the basic essentials of life to be able to sustain yourself. He forces people to depend on him. Then he hoards all the resources to himself and just lightly portions out a small factor of what he's gained, which is wicked. You see? Then you could beg the nigga and you still don't get what you want or what you deserve, you know? That's why this man is not to be trusted, man. Because his whole point of being set up is to destroy you, man. It says, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fence walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy power have given thee. You see? And you're in you're watching a siege take place. Esau is sieging you Jakes, man. Over here in America, he's sieging you, you know? That's why he's destroying the food supply, water supply, you know? That's why he wants to bring forth another pandemic, you know? It's happening right before your very eyes, man. It says, and thou shalt eat. Matter of fact, I'm going to jump here. This 2 Ezra 16 and verse 19, it says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So these are the plagues, the things that's been sent out. And the first thing on the list was famine. You know, that's a part of that siege, you know, and that's a war strategy, a war tactic where you siege a village and you don't let no resources come in or go out. So the people are forced to basically survive off of whatever they got within that village. And if they're not able to get goods coming in, goods going out, and eventually they use up all their resources within that village, guess what? It's going to lead to Chaos, man. You see? And this is what this man is preparing. He's preparing chaos, man. You see? It says, but all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. And you jakes are not mindful of these scourges that the Lord has sent out for you to consider. You jakes are worried about partying. You worrying about your next trip to Disneyland. You know, you worrying about folly. You see, not understanding that these evils are created. You see, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. You see, so you think just because you had your time of enjoying your SNAP benefits, especially the black woman, you know, you enjoyed your SNAP benefits. You enjoyed these different goods that Esau has gave you, but not understanding that he's going to take all of these things away from you that you accumulated on this side. So you thinking that you in good case. You receiving your child support. You draining Jake out, you know. You get to go on your girls' trips. So you think that you in good case. And even then, so even in the midst of you having a good time, enjoying all these benefits that you're receiving, even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So these are the things that are going to grow. These are the things that are going to continue to grow until prophecy just blossoms right before you people's eyes, man. And remember, just like how we read in Ecclesiastes 9, that's when sudden destruction is going to come upon you, man. You see? Because you thought to be in good case. You thought only good. You thought God of the Bible was only just good. You see? You had a false reality of how the Lord deals. You thought the Lord was just about prosperity. You know? Not understanding that the Lord is increasing these evils on a daily basis as well. You see? And it's going to affect you in your personal life. It says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine. So it's going to be a lot of people that's going to die of famine, of starvation. And Lamentations tell you, I think it's Lamentations 4:9, that's the worst way to die, is when you starving to death. And just imagine that. You no more food. Just imagine you knowing it's no more food. And you knowing it ain't no more resources coming in and out. You see? Because majority of you Israelites out there, you can't grow nothing. You know? Because majority of the Jakes stay in apartment complexes, or they in a townhouse to where you can't really do much, you know? And even then, you Jakes don't know how to grow nothing. And even in growing something, it's a process with that. Even that takes time. And even with growing some, the seasons got to be right. And right now, we're in the midst of a drought. You see? Because the earth is not yielding forth her strength anyways. So even in that, you still screwed over, man. You know? That's why it's going to take Yahweh Shema Shai to step in on your behalf in these last days, man. Nothing carnal is going to save you out of this, man. You see? Going back at Deuteronomy 28 and in verse 53, it says, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body. Yeah, cannibalism is coming back. The flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy power hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee. You see? And Esau is set up to make sure that you people are going to be distressed, in a state of distress. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his own brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall lead. And that's going to be what? The love of many waxing cold, man. That's what's going to lead to cannibalism. Because when a person knows, just like the Snickers commercial, you're not yourself when you're hungry. And then, not only that, ain't another way. When you trust in America and you trust in Esau to provide for you, you really fucked up, because sweet Jesus ain't gonna save you, man. And you niggas don't take Jesus serious anyways. You don't even believe in the miracles. You know what I'm saying? You don't even believe in the miracles that, that you read about. Because Christianity has, has really conditioned the minds of the people to not consider these things to happen in today's time. Those same miracles Yahweh Shai, did over 2,000 years ago. You Christians think that was just for that time. That was just in the old Bible days. That was just for that time. You see? You act like the Lord can't do that today. You see? And that's where you sadly mistaken. That's why trusting in man, you can't go nowhere with that mindset. You can't transcend above a carnal mindset. You see? You can't think upon miracles when it ain't no more food. So that's what's going to lead you to commit cannibalism. You eating your own children. Hell, it's probably getting to the point where you gotta, motherfucker gotta cut a piece of his thigh and put it in the skillet. You know what I mean? It's gonna get that bad. You see? A nigga gotta eat his dog. You see? A nigga gonna be eating grass, tree branches, and putting salt on it. It's gonna get bad out here, man. It says, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he have nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. Back in that 2 Ezra 16 and verse 23, it says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung. And that's shit. That's literal shit. And there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be waste and the cities shall be cast down. You see? Evil and only evils, behold, is come. So it's going to be a lot of people that's going to die, man. Tells you that in Psalms 91. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to die, man. And it's mainly going to be done by the way of starvation. You see? To where just like how you see dog shit and how that's somewhat normal, you can see dog shit anywhere, Or you in a pasture full of cattle and you just see cow shit everywhere. Liken that unto people, to where everywhere you step is going to be dead bodies right there. That's how much death is coming to this place, man. You see? And the cities are going to be cast down. It's Isaiah 65 and verse 13. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shema shall power. Behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. You see? So the Lord's servants are going to eat, man, you know, and drink. And that's going to be by the way of miracles, man. Because like I spoke about earlier, that's the only way you're going to be able to escape. Psalms 91 and verse 7. It says, matter of fact, I'm going to start at verse 5. It says, thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that fly by day, nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand. That's a lot of dead bodies, a lot of people that's going to die. But it shall not come nigh thee. You see? So it's not going to come towards the Lord's elect. The Lord's elect is not going to starve to death. You know, Yahweh Shai already told us, take no thought for what you should eat, what you shall drink, what clothes you going to wear, what kind of shoes going to be on your feet. The Lord said, don't worry about that. You see? I think it's in Matthew's, what it is, 6, you know? It says, only with thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. See, this is the reward that the wicked of our people is going to experience. The wicked people of this world are going to experience. The Lord's elect is not going to experience that, man. That's why the miracles were recorded, you know, in the scriptures in times of old for our learning. Remember, the things that were written aforetime, the accounts of Yahweh Shai, the Acts of the Apostles, you know, even men in the Old Testament, the prophets in the Old Testament, the mighty works the Lord worked through them, you know. I think it was it Elijah, you know, during that time of a famine, you know, to where he was sustained and able to eat. How much more today? So these accounts were written for us to learn from, to get faith from, to get confidence from. So when these things come to pass, we not tripping. You see? Because it's better to put confidence in the Lord than to put confidence in man. It says, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. You see? For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. You see? So no evil is going to befall the elect. No plague is going to befall the elect. And what was one of those plagues? The plagues of famine. These things were only created for the wicked. So Lord willing, that was edifying. I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Akakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men who taught me this truth. Peace and blessings be to the hopeful elect, you men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.